Rolling. Good evening, all. Welcome to the town board meeting, August 14th. Please rise, salute the flag. All, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Hanlon,
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Here.
Councilman Niles,
Here.
Supervisor Merlino.
Here. I'm going to hold off on Annie's appointment until the attorney gets here. And we seem to have a question, and I don't know the answer to it. So we'll just move on to some of the other stuff. So be patient. You all right with that, Judge? All right, thank you. Okay, Matt's from Marshall and Sterling, going to give us a presentation on the health insurance. Thank you.
All right, good evening. Thanks for getting me in. So what you have in front of you, so for everybody who's in the audience, so the town renews their health benefits on December 1st, and we're in decent shape as far as timing is concerned, though we have to start to make some progress. This is your first look at the renewal. You all remember from last year, we moved from what used to be Blue Shield is now Highmark Blue. We moved away from them really for only one reason. They stopped covering what we call early retirees. So that's anybody, who's retired from the town at 62, 63, et cetera, pre-Medicare. So they stopped giving any municipality or private business an ability to cover them. So that's really the only reason we left Highmark and Blue you've had them for years and years. MVP was the one company that can accommodate early retirees and also cover spouses of a retiree. So if you have a retiree that is goes to Humana on Medicare, but the spouse may be 62, that's a problem for a lot of carriers. You're with the one carrier that can do it. Okay, so that's why we moved there last year. But it's a tough, it's a tough market. Costs continue to rise in the small group market. The state, New York State, the Department of Financial Services actually approves all these rates. Nothing really gets approved by any of the carriers unless it runs through the state first. So what you have on that piece of paper that I handed out is your current and your renewal with MVP. Recalling last year, we moved for the first time from a copay plan to a high deductible plan. But with that high deductible, of course, the town has a reimbursement arrangement to keep the employees whole. So the employees really actually have had a better plan than previously because they don't have to pull anything out of their pocket at the end of the day. So with that, the MVP renewal, and this is again what the state approved, what all businesses are really kind of dealing with these days. If you keep the exact same plan, it nets out at about a plus 15 this year. 15. You look at the left. Yes. In the healthcare itself is you go one row up or one little section up. The actual fixed costs from MVP are 15%. When you take into consideration if we consider that your HRA would be flat for the year, we would expect reimbursements to be at about 60% of your liability, netting you out at a total cost of the town between the MVP and your HRA at around the 13. So let me stop there. I said a lot, I know. Questions, thoughts? Keep going. Okay.
So these are the only ones you brought to us, not anything else?
Well, here's the thing, Gene, there's MVP. We go back. Highmark isn't overly competitive to begin with, but we have that retiree issue. So you could absolutely go back to a Highmark. That's not like they're any cheaper, but you would have to, your people who are on early retirees, we could give them Cobra, which would give them a 3 years of coverage, basically. So it's, for most municipalities, there's a few carriers that are just not practical because for that one reason. But they're not, Highmark's not competitive anyhow. CDPHP and MVP are the closest in the, what we call, under 100, the smaller group market. And, you obviously have MVP. So there's a couple pages here with MVP and CDPHP options. Something to consider. You see on the first page, you have your current and renewal. That's no changes whatsoever. The plans are identical. What you have today is what would turn over on December 1st. Same plans. As you go to the right from there, you have some alternatives. Okay, so you have what they consider a gold plan today. And it's a great, you really have a nice plan, meaning that once you cross over your deductible today, your employees, spouses, et cetera, when you have your next primary care visit, it's only a $10 copay. You can get a generic drug for $10 as an example, name brand 30. Those are all very solid benefits. If you want to look at alternatives, and you start going to the right a little bit. And I would say probably the first two, where you see some of the items in red, that it would be more of a natural step from where you are, where then you can get your, obviously it's going to bring the rates down, but you're tweaking your deductible, either you're tweaking your deductible and some of your copays after the deductible. Okay. Everybody with me on that column we're looking at? All right. So yeah, you go from a $1,600 deductible. Again, the town we know covers that. An alternative is to go to one that's $1,850. Assumption would be the town would also cover that or a version of it. But you can see the copays thereafter are different. So if somebody hits their deductible, their next doc visit instead of 10 goes to 30. Okay, the hospitalization bumps up quite a bit. The only way you're going to save some money on these things, of course, is if you change the plan a little bit, right? If you start to bump the copays, so bump the deductibles. And there's a version of this, but that gets your net cost down from a net 13 to 2. It's a pretty significant difference in the rates.
That would also potentially expose us to a higher HRA though, right?
It does. And we would assume, though, it's not so significant of a change. You're only adding $250 of liability on the single, $500 for a family. It's not going to move the needle too much, but we would expect your total cost to be somewhere around plus 2% in that scenario.
Based upon our experience, are we 8 months into the HRA now?
Right, so far. Yeah, you're tracking right now for about a 60% utilization. So you had, if 100% of your people hit it last year or hit it this year, you have about liability of 61,000, call it. Where it seems to be tracking right now, to your point though, Jim, it's only 8 months in, but it's tracking where you're going to be at about maybe 36,000 that you'd actually be reimbursing. And that's around a 60% target. So we would expect that to hold. It would probably stay reasonably close.
That's about what we predicted when we signed up for it, wasn't it?
It is. Yep.
This is where the cost savings was
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, so it's being realized.
Well, you're taking that money that has been put in there, set aside, and now we can reinvest it back into this coming year, which is now actually help paying for our premiums.
Correct. Yeah, you don't have to fully fund that account again.
If I'm not mistaken, I talked to Colleen probably about 2-3 weeks ago. She said we're at 28,000. And we have approximately, yes, on our deductibles. I think that's what you mentioned.
You're currently at the, as of August 1st, 30,000.
Okay, giving us basically 30,000, 34,000 left.
Yeah, no, it's not money left over. It's just money we
No.
didn't spend.
It's money
It's not
that
like
we didn't
$50
spend, right?
for it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So to everybody's point, this number your first year in, things could change, could go higher, could go lower. But that's kind of where we thought it would be. Regardless, your chances are fabulous. You're not going to get to 100. Right? You're going to be probably somewhere between that 60 and 70% at the end of the day. So really, if you look at that plan to the right, it's the same plan, meaning it's with MVP. It's just things that your deductibles bumped up. The town could cover that deductible, and that you wouldn't feel much of a difference there. Where I think the plans change is if somebody hits that deductible, the copays are different after. Okay, so that's the biggest issue with that plan.
Well, the dumbest question, I guess, in the world is, why such an increase over last year?
There's a lot going on with it. The one big part of it is the inflation everywhere else in the world. It's absolutely hitting healthcare too. So
I
everything.
know we increased the amount of people either changed their position, being single to married, possibly with children, yada, 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 which equaled out to be about $36,480 increase from the time we bid the policy, which now brings us up to the figure of 398, 912. So you're going from 398 up to 452,000.
Yeah, if you stay exactly as is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So the alternatives, how much are you willing to take on? As an example, if you step over that one plan of the 1850 deductibles, the next one's 2,500. Okay, and then some of the copays are a little bit lower after that. So it's just how much how much risk do you want to take on as a town with that HRA? And then considering the copays after the deductible. Okay, you're with the right company. From what we talked about earlier, and also MVP is pretty competitive against Highmark or Empire. Empire is not even in the mix. Highmark isn't all that competitive. So you're with the right company, it's just tweaking the plan one direction or another a little bit.
I know we were pretty disappointed in the shenanigans that
Yeah, okay, I
happened.
was just gonna say that we ran into a lot of problems first 3 months. Just because of the changeover.
Yeah, it was a
And,
different world.
A
right?
lot of us, including myself, were getting notices from the doctors we weren't paying and all that. But it's calmed down a lot, and it's running even. I only have one complaint. It's just me, it's not the board. But on the, we buy a special plan, glasses, dental, that doesn't go with the town.
Correct, that's
insurance.
employee paid.
I have one problem. You guys had it, Marshall and Sterling, we bought it from them, from you at the time.
Yep.
1 year later, you guys sold it to Highmark.
We sold it to Highmark.
Highmark took over your part. And then a year later, Highmark sold it to Concordia.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so what happened? I feel we should have been notified. The people that paid that special price to make sure these changes would run up to what we signed for 3 years early. Okay, and I'm just gonna give you the example because it happened to me and that's why I know. Concord, first it said we're not in, my dentist wasn't in network. And you had it, and your guy, I mean, I have all the emails back and forth. Him and I did a lot of, well, Colleen did the email. And yeah. And he always came back, tell your doctor, here's the email, show the doctor, he calls Concordia. And they say, no, we're not paying. So he comes to me, he says, here's your bill, $2,200. Do you want them or you don't? So of course I wanted them. I paid the $2,200. Can I get reimbursed way back? Because I signed another contract saying I should have been paid. Or they should have been paid. Now, I don't know how many, I know a couple other people complain about some of that, but this is just me, Gene Marino.
yep,
person.
no, I hear you. Some of
know,
that, because
And
it's
I
in,
just went back, cleaning was $75. Nope, I had to pay that. I got another one coming up at the end of this month. So I was expecting 3 years that I've been paying, some of it at least, half of it or something could have been covered. So,
Yeah, I have no argument. The dental, we have seen more of it happening out there. We have zero control over the networks as acquisitions happen and different partners come in the mix.
Yeah.
One thing that I absolutely have seen, not happening to healthcare, but it's happening with dental, is that providers are leaving these networks. They're
Well,
not,
my
they're
only
not
thing,
all
I think we
participating.
should have been notified. I don't know if we have 20 people, 15, should have been notified. Check out now what they want, they're gonna offer you, so you don't go over there and try to get it done and it's not happening. That's my
Okay.
just a little tidbit, that's all.
Yep, no, I'm with you. We just
I
gotta,
mean, your-
we
your
gotta
guy
pull it
back in
offline.
Your office did great job. Colleen, how many emails we get? 10 in a matter of 4 months and nothing got solved. So it's either leave it behind or pay for it. I wanted it, I had to pay for
Yeah, hey, if we can go back, look and talk about the timelines again, but
it. Okay,
absolutely take a swing at trying to fix it, of course.
all right. I think there's, we're gonna have to sit and, decide. We're gonna have to have our own meeting on which way, how we're gonna go.
Colleen, have you got anything to say? Have things been running okay since the changeover got straightened out pretty much?
So from pretty smoothly, definitely, people have gotten doctor bills, but my understanding, that's what's going to happen with the health reimbursement account. They get doctor's bills and then they're paid, is what we're saying. So basically, I know that they kind of been told not to pay them. Which is fine as long as somebody's okay with not paying. Because they then do get paid. But some people, when they get that bill, want to pay it. Which then I believe people have got reimbursed for what they did. Pay. But it's
Yep.
overall been running very. It's been running.
The process is still evolving, gang. I'll put it that way. In other words, nobody ever ran out there and said, yeah, please give me a high deductible health plan. Right? I mean, everybody wants their $2 copay that they had 25 years ago. So it's still evolving. The provider community at times is billing, but even though they know they're supposed to not bill in that situation when they have an HRA, but their offices are too busy sometimes to check. So they're trying to ask for money when you leave the door and they really shouldn't. So it's coming along. It's not perfect, but you do this for obvious
Well, at
reasons.
least we're starting. Last year we had a public hearing, we had agreed to the plan, and then we had a week to change it. Not your fault, it happened in the industry. Now we're only in the middle.
Yeah,
of
hi, Mark.
August.
Change
We gotta-
something on us.
Got another month to look at
Yep.
it. At least by the middle of September.
Yeah, that'd be great if we could.
All right. Any other questions, John?
No,
All right, last thing,
thanks.
I know, yep, sure. Last thing, the next part of your kit there is just regarding Humana. That's another one you don't have to decide now on that. With Humana, they have done a pretty solid job. County has them, a lot of municipalities have them. They're very, very good at what they do. They're getting, it's about just under $15 per head change. Not bad in that case. But I want to put that's in your kit too. No
It's
changes to the
backwards,
plan.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'll just say that I've never heard anything about.
Yeah, your manner is really
Agreed.
upfront. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I'd be not tempted to change that one.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming up.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Have a nice evening. Drive careful.
All right, let's see. Mary, I apologize for dumping this on you. We didn't do the resolution for Annie McMahon because I was told by Paul we did something wrong last week.
Okay.
We were supposed to be notified in the paper that we were doing it this week. I know it went out on the internet yesterday or Sunday. But do you know any?
I don't know of any legal requirement for a public hearing. No.
The comment that we received was that we should have given 24 hours notice to the public before we voted on installing Annie on the town board.
I don't know of any legal requirement to do so. No.
Okay.
Mr. Herring, you're the one brought it up. You can help us, yeah. Come over here. Come over to the table, please, so you get it on the mic. People in the audience can hear you.
New York State Public Officers Law 103E requires 24 hours notice before the before the start of the meeting. And posting of it on the town website. And I know Mr. Molino's aware of this because I've brought it up before. So any vote, and the discussion is prohibited and the vote is prohibited under that section. So any vote that did occur is essentially null and void. It means that basically there was no vote. And he certainly has the right to call for an appointment as he did, but it requires 24-hour notice so the public can be aware of what's going on. Mr. Molina, you just told this gentleman, we'd like to know, we should have been told, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what the law is about. It's been in effect for over 2 years. I suspect Councilman Lewandowski was aware of it because I know he abstained. And Councilman Hanlon, although he voted for it, I suspect he may not have been aware because I remember being here at a meeting when his appointment was contested. And his comment to the person was a couple of times, was it legal? And that was his concern. So I don't think if he had known his vote last week wasn't, I don't know if he would have voted that way. So anyway, essentially, the vote is null and void. If you want to do this, you need to post it 24 hours in advance, and then you can make that motion, and then you can make an appointment.
Well, it did go on the internet. I'm sorry.
What section?
103E. It says documents that will be discussed at all municipal meetings and any proposed resolution, law, regulation, policy or amendment must be made available to the public on request or posted on the government entity's website 24 hours in advance of the start of the meeting, according to the law.
I'm looking at the law and that's not what is in here, so I'm not sure where you got your copy.
I believe it was passed by legislature in October of 21.
Where'd you draw that? Do you happen to know where you found the information from? Okay.
I don't know what subdivision under that.
I mean, I'm looking,
Copy of that law.
I am looking at it, and I don't see that. Also, the agenda was posted on the website on Friday.
Yes, but that wasn't part of the agenda. There was no,
I think that
I have it right in front of me and
It
it's
was.
right on.
It was on the agenda. It was on the agenda.
and where did it post it?
I
Well, the
believe
new one
Friday.
was posted.
Sunday, she posted
Sunday
it,
afternoon.
well, she emailed me Monday.
I believe what he's stating is the vote that we took a week ago was not posted.
Correct.
The vote we're to take
That's fine.
tonight,
It's my understanding that the vote tonight is to appoint Annie. So it seems like all of the legal requirements.
We
have
voted to appoint, or we voted on it last week.
been- Why
you
not-
weren't here.
why not you just do another one tonight?
Because it has to be posted.
It was posted on Sunday.
so we in effect, we'd have to vote again
Yeah.
to make it.
To
Yeah.
appoint her.
Okay. I'd like to do the right thing. I mean, we have to do the right thing, obviously. Make a motion that we do a revote on appointment of Annie McMahon. The
I'll
town
second
board.
it, but I would like a little discussion. I know
Yep.
we're putting you on the spot.
Sure are.
If you're not comfortable, tell us.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I think if you do the resolution over again, I don't see that requirement, but if it's there, this was on the website yesterday, that's more than 24 hours in advance. And I think that meets the requirement this gentleman's talking about, even though I don't see that in the law.
Do you feel confident we have that resolution tonight? We vote on it, that would rectify this.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a motion.
I
and
don't
a-
have a copy of the, that's what specifically is that was just to make the appointment
Says oath of office swearing in of Annie McMahon to the town board vacant seat. I mean, that's pretty specific.
Right, but that doesn't address the vote.
I think your bases are covered. I think the appointment's fine. So.
Okay.
you-
We can revote and get it done now, then move on further
Well,
on the
I'm
appointment.
sure you're gonna fit this account, but I respect, what you're saying, but, if you acted, an actual copy of the law or specifically Google state legislature and stuff, that will.
He's got
I
access
was
to all that.
looking at the law. And I didn't see that. Okay.
Okay, so the resolution is on the, you seconded, I made the motion, you seconded it.
Okay, so Laura, you want to call the roll?
Effective today.
Yes.
Once she's sworn in.
Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Abstained.
Councilman Niles,
Yes.
Supervisor Merlino.
Yes.
So that's
All right, Annie, would you like to come up? Judge, would you like to,
Oh,
oh.
sorry. You need to accept her resignation. The resignation.
oh, yes, we got to go way back up.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, now we need a motion
I
to,
Motion that we accept Annie McMahon's resignation from the zoning board of appeals.
I seconded it,
And,
and Board of,
and Board of
And Board of
Assessment Review.
Assessment.
and I seconded
Councilman Hanlon,
it. Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes,
Councilman Niles,
Yes.
Supervisor Merlino.
Yes,
I just want to remind Annie that that means she has to find replacements for those two spots.
Already on it.
Okay, so,
all right, you ready now? All right, Andy, would you come up? Judge, would you like to come up, please?
You want to get up? You want to get up and take a picture? While she does it, go ahead. You feel free to get up and take a picture of it.
go ahead.
Get rid of it. That's fine.
Nobody's gonna take a picture of you in the back.
Take the picture.
I, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of town board member according to the best of my ability.
The oath there.
Get the pen out, get the blood, get the blood on the thumb.
sign my book, because this one's.
Thanks. Mr. Herring, thank you for your info on this.
Okay.
I can see that.
Oh, yeah. I'm just asking.
Chair.
Down the end.
I told you, you're getting on the end of the bus.
Caterpillar moves to the right.
I'm just curious while she's finishing this up. That question wasn't posed before tonight. You didn't know this was coming up tonight.
Huh.
You didn't know this was coming up tonight.
I knew it when I got here. Not before.
Sorry.
No.
If I, had, never mind.
Okay, presentation by, are you finished, Lori? I'm sorry. I want you to finish.
Your other president.
Okay, a presentation by Mike Maxfield. It's on independent assessor.
Good evening. My name is Michael Maxwell. I'm the owner of Maxwell Appraisal Service. I've been doing revaluation work either on my own or with another company since the early 1990s. I'm New York State Certified Assessor and I'm New York State Certified General Appraiser. And I've conducted revaluations in many of the towns surrounding Lake Luzerne, Hague, Horicon, Chester, Lake George, Bolton, Warrensburg, Fort Anne, Granville, Whitehall. And I'm currently also a part-time assessor for the town of Skaneateles, which has probably the highest real estate values in upstate New York. We have one property there valued at over $30 million, and we have 10 properties over $10 million currently. Revaluation is a very touchy subject for property owners and for town boards, because usually they catch the wrath of the people once the values get doubled, tripled, or whatever it happens to be. I just completed one in the town of Hague for this past May. The assessments went up by, the majority of them doubled, but also the tax rate went from $18 a thousand down to $9 a thousand. So obviously it wasn't as much of a burden as everybody thought it was going to be. The only issues and problems of revaluations in towns like yours and most of the other ones up here in Warren County is the properties. There's no two properties alike. You have all just sorts of different issues and problems with lake frontage, lake view, lake access, common lots. Somebody tears down the little cabin, puts up a 5,000 square foot mansion next door to a 600 square foot cottage. So there's no, it's not like doing a, Main Street USA where you got ranch houses, colonials, capes that are all pretty much uniform, and the values would be pretty uniform going straight down through. Here you've got every thing imaginable as far as making the values go up and down. For instance, in Lake George, we had properties up on the mountaintop that had views of the lake, and they were selling for $500,000. So if we took that sale and used it against other properties that didn't have that view, we would be doing a disservice to those properties. So when you're doing revaluation in towns like this, you have to be very careful about grouping neighborhoods together, land values, grading the properties. Obviously, there's buildings here that are A quality, you have buildings that are E quality, and everything in between. So you have to be very careful in the grading of the properties. The reason to do a revaluation is obviously to get everybody back to square one, get all the properties back in around 100%. And you'll find that some of the properties have went up more so than others. For instance, I'm working right now in Warrensburg, and I'm finding there that they have the river there and they have a small lake. The property values there have went up more so than any other parts of the town. The village properties have not went up nearly as much. The rural properties haven't went up as much, but obviously seasonal properties, bed and breakfasts that are there. The commercial properties haven't went up as much, but it's just a segment of each group that seems to be going up some. The biggest thing I always find out with this is keeping the public informed, making sure they understand the ramifications of the reval, making sure they realize that no new taxes are raised, even though you can hit them over the head with a ball peen hammer, and they'll still think that you're raising their taxes by doing a revaluation. But the bottom line is, for instance, like I just said in Hague, the average assessment doubled and the tax rates actually were cut in half. But you do have to keep them informed, and obviously at the end of the project, listen to the people that want to complain, that want to review the assessments, give them all the information they need as far as properties that have sold, the trends that you're using. And this is one of the biggest problems right now is the trends. So for 21 and 22, the trends were 12 and 14%. So what that means was the house sold in late 20, it sold for 100,000. By the time it got to be 23, the house now be worth 126,000. So those trends have to be added in, because that's what the state is coming up with, your equalization rate, and those are the trends New York State is using on your equalization rate and on your town. Again, the biggest thing with doing any of these properties and these types of towns is the properties aren't uniform, and making sure the person that's doing them is well aware of the issues and problems that come with lakefront, lake view, lake access properties. For instance, you could have properties that have a common beach lot. And as you get away from that beach lot, the values are gonna start going down, but the houses that are right on the beach lot obviously would be the highest values of them, so you have to take that in consideration. Then you have the common lot that all the other lots have access over. You can't put a value on it because that lot is always encumbered by those lots, so you have to be aware of that. Lake view, again, you have to determine that by the properties that sold that have that lake view. And the biggest thing you always have to do is making sure all of your information is coming from the market that you're looking at. I can't come in here and say, well, the properties in this town sold for this and that, therefore these properties should be selling for this here. You can't do that. You have to use what's here, look at the sales that are here and make your cost tables, your comp tables and land tables from your town, not from somebody else's. Again, the biggest concern is always keeping the public informed, making sure they understand everything that's going on. Making sure the data that you're using is what the property owners know and what is there. Obviously, sending out data mailers at the beginning of it would be helpful to tell them, say, well, you know, we got your house down as a colonial, it's 2,000 square feet, built in 1965, 2.5 baths, 4 bedrooms, attached garage and a deck. And hopefully if that's everything that's correct, then the value should be somewhat correct once it's completed. I don't really know if I got anything else, but anybody got any questions or concerns or?
What's the timeline?
Yeah, just
Typical
gonna,
timeline.
Usually town this size would be if you started in May, it would be done by the following May.
yeah, about a year.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to us. It was last time we did 6 years ago. Was yeah, 2016.
So
Yeah, and we had the same, what
I-
you said all through, people were not happy and
Yeah.
it happened to work out really well, like a 1/3 went up, 1/3 went down, and 1/3 stayed the same. So it kind of
Lake,
equaled
lake
out.
properties are still obviously going up. The ones that probably being more sedentary are the rural properties that don't have anything to do with the lake.
Mhm.
Those are the ones you're seeing a little bit more sedentary because obviously people aren't, you know, the other thing that's went up is obviously real estate is just with the cost of rents and everything else, people, you know, if they can pay $2,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment, they can pay a lot to buy a house. Mobile homes have went up a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. Double wides have went up a lot, which was always the lower end of the market, but those property values have always also exceeded a lot in the last couple of years.
I guess what I'm asking is, how are you people handling the situation of a person coming in, building a new home at actual cost at 1.5 and then have it valued on an assessment of $500,000 because it's a 3,000 square foot house?
Again, all that would be pertinent to what the properties around it sold for. Obviously, what somebody, the gentleman I have right now, $30 million, we know for a fact he has $60 million tied up in the house. There's no way on God's earth we were gonna put $60 million on it. You have to be wary of properties around it, what they've sold for, what the high end is. I'd have to look at the situation that you're talking about, but it's not dollar for dollar what somebody costs and puts into something and what they're gonna get out of it.
Well, this
obviously
also
when-
reflects back to the situation over the last 3 years. The price of property around our area is probably, I'm gonna call it the Juan effect. The average house, if it goes on the market, is selling anywhere from an average of $30,000 to $50,000 more than the bid,
Mhm.
or it was listed for.
It's happening in just about every place, not just.
Bidding wars.
It's bidding
I
wars.
got
It's
caught up in
terrible.
one. I got caught up in one.
Yeah.
Then it was absolutely brutal.
So is there an adjustment for this factor? If this gentleman just went out and the house was, say, originally appraised for, say, 300 and he paid 350,000? How do we take care of that?
When those sales become the norm, there is none. In
There
other
is-
words, if he, again, what happens is once somebody pays 350, now the next person, he's got his house for sale, it's just like his house, so I'm gonna put mine at 350. Now the bank comes in and says, oh, now we got these couple properties that sold for 350, now this one's worth 350.
That becomes the market.
It becomes the market. Now, there are outliers, there's no getting around, I mean, you'll have somebody come in and offer a stupid price for something, maybe it wasn't even on the market. They wanted to buy this certain property they went up to him and said, hey, I'll give you this. You know, you leave tomorrow and here's what the money is. Obviously, if it goes down in sales, you would throw out and just put them down as not arm's length, but once the market is what the market is, you have to go with it. But again, if everybody goes up the same percentage, it's not going to affect the property tax. The problem is if one segment goes up a lot more than another segment, obviously the shift is going to be to those properties that went up more. The other thing is I see you have on your agenda about the senior tax. You know, we're reviewing this in the town of Skaneateles where I work a couple of days a week, and you know, we have some properties there that we had one gentleman that the property is worth $2 million. They were trying to get a senior exemption on it, which would cut their taxes in half, which would then save them roughly about $22,000 a year. Well, I told them there's no way in God's creation they're only bringing in $30,000 a year when they own that home and one in Florida.
Yeah.
But my estimation of some of that is there needs to be caps put on some of that. In other words, once a house reaches a certain point, you can't go, it's 50% and or X amount of money. Because why, if somebody's got $1 million house and they only got X amount of money, why should the rest of you be paying their property taxes so they can give something to their children or whoever that's worth all that money? They could sell that, get a, what do you call it, secondary loan on it or whatever to pay the taxes when they were there. So some of that you want to be very careful about with those senior exemptions. 'Cause I know Onondaga County's raising it to
Something what Paul just
50,000.
brought up, though. I mean, we've had it around here and Paul's in the business. Somebody will buy a house like up in the Heights, it's old, and they knock it down and build a $500,000 house. How do you assess that one?
If the house is worth $500,000, then it would be assessed at
Because it's
$500,000.
brand new.
Right. I mean, it would be, I mean, building costs right now, that's actually why the houses built from about 1990 on up are selling for a premium, because people are coming in saying, wow, to build that's gonna cost me $300 a square foot. I can buy it for 150, and then I can drop another $50 or $75 a square foot in it to renovate it to what I want, and I still haven't got the price of a new house.
Right.
So that's what's going on with the newer ones. The lower end of it, the houses that are crap, junk, whatever you want to call them, those are the ones that are, you know, people are buying them, but they're either going to tear them down or try to do a quick fix up and then flip them over to somebody that
Yep.
has a, you know, lower income
That's it.
sort of thing. But you're finding that those houses built, you know, 1990 on up are really starting to sell a lot because again, new construction is so costly. And as far as tearing houses down, there isn't, you know, there's only so much land out there too. I mean, that's why with these lakefront properties, they just buy them, tear them down because there's nothing else they can do. I mean, I did a gentleman just paid $2 million for a house in Skaneateles. The lake frontage is 10 by 100 across the road from the house. He just tore the house down.
Yeah.
I mean, now he took out a permit for a,
We see it all the time.
Yeah.
I guess my next question is, what are we talking money wise to do this?
normally.
We got
the
20
fees that I charge
approximately-
normally between $35 and $45 a parcel, depending on.
We
once I
got
look at-
20, what is it? Approximately 2,900 parcels?
Right.
How many? Okay, 3,000 parcels.
And was
Somebody
there a greater-
subdivided this year.
Is there a greater portion of those are state-owned forest land?
There is part of it that is
Yeah.
state.
I mean, if
Some
there was a-
some state.
If there was exceeding amount, then obviously I would, normally what I do is try to take those out of the equation for charging, because we don't put values on them anyways. The state values those as it is. So,
Normal number of people you got working on this at a time?
usually myself and one other. I have a very, unique set of skills as far as doing this. I can set up a table a lot quicker than you can think, and I have presets that I use for cost tables that I bring into each town and try to modify them as I go along, but it's almost better in a situation like this to have one or two people doing the values, because obviously no two people look alike and no two people think alike, so you have to be very careful of that.
Is the protest phase, I'll call it, typically part of it, or is that done after it's? all-
It's difficult, and it isn't, 90% of people call in or understand it. You get the 10% that are pain in the backside and you have to deal with them. But, again, what this gentleman just said that, well, I got into bidding more and that's what I paid for. If that becomes the norm, if I got 5 other sales that are same as that, and that's what they sold for, then that's what the
No,
market is.
that's not what I was trying to ask. What's the date that,
Usually
we
the
have the
property
hearing?
values are made public by March 1st, and then there's like a 6-week period where we entertain people that want to review those assessments. And then those numbers are then finalized for the tentative roll that goes out May 1st. And after May 1st, it's dumped into the lap of the assessor. And then obviously,
It's the same grievance process every single year.
Yeah.
We're a lot busier if we do it.
Okay,
and normally what happens with, what would happen is the assessor then would sit with the roll in May. If she felt that some of the values were still a little bit out of line, she could do stipulations. And then if she thought the numbers were fine, then she would send them on to grievance.
Does the time factor fit into your criteria? In regards to getting it out for that year? He's talking May to May, that means it's not going to be finished, or the assessment isn't gonna be done until the following year.
You would
To be
start,
established,
you would
correct?
start like in May of 24, it would be
2025.
done for May of 20, and the tentative roll would be for May of 25, right?
And then the payment is for 26. All right,
Just making it clear, that's all.
yeah.
all right. Well,
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for your time
Oh, no problem.
and appreciate
Thank
your
you very
comments.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got his name and number?
Yeah,
I got his name.
yeah, they got,
Okay.
Melissa's got.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Melissa, too, for the help on it. All right, next one here, we're gonna open the public hearing on the real property tax exemption for seniors 65 years of age and over. What you see in front of you, Melissa worked up. We have already discussed that at the previous meeting, just to go with the same number that the county did. County did the same thing.
Are we gonna incorporate,
got-
are we going to incorporate what suggestions he said, put a cap? So we don't get the $2.5 million home and they're out looking for a. What do you say, we should probably do something like that, or look into that.
Oh, this is.
But-
This has salary cap.
This has,
Okay.
this has a salary, this one here.
Okay,
has a
salary, okay,
cap.
we're doing, okay, this is salary cap, not by the home. Okay.
No,
Right.
this goes from 29,000 to 29.99, and then all the way down to 36.5.
Okay.
So I mean, $2 million home is not on.
No, they're not gonna be able, yeah, I got you.
All right, so lying like a son of a gun.
He's all under the table working.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, if we agree with this, we have to put out a public notice.
Yeah, I did
You
publish it, it was in the paper.
Oh, okay,
5 days as required
okay, good.
prior to the hearing.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a
Wait,
motion.
wait, you have something?
No, I was just gonna say, I studied this all the way through, so I'm good.
It's down further for the whole.
All right, so you making a motion?
I'm making a motion.
Okay.
Someone has to close the public hearing first.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, we have to close the public hearing.
Are we allowing
Did
comments?
she open the public hearing?
Yeah.
You did open it.
Are we allowing comments? On Zoom?
Public hearing, yeah, we have to allow comments first.
Do we have any?
Do we have anybody on Zoom that wants to comment on this legislation?
I don't see any hands.
Yeah.
All right,
And I
close.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
If I get a second?
Second.
I think we have somebody in this comment.
Is it still open?
No.
We didn't vote on it yet. It's still, I hate it.
Oh, it's definitely closed.
It's closed now, Stan.
Come on, you have a comment, Stan?
Yeah, my comment is this statement of about 12 words doesn't tell me what this means. I don't understand this.
What are you talking about? What we're doing now?
It says granting partial exemption on real property. Is that the one we're talking about?
Right, right.
Yeah. What? For eligible, what does eligible?
All right. You want a copy? We have it right here. There was some out there, I think. They're listed right here, eligibilities. I think if you don't have one out there, we can get you one. We talked about this last month. What's that?
It's my birthday today, so I just.
We're gonna raise your taxes.
That was not your age that you put your finger up for.
It's a sliding scale.
Yeah, that's,
Maximum income is 37,
you got the next one?
399.
Uh,
You want to keep talking about it?
Here, Stan, take.
Here, Stan.
And you can see it right away.
It's the same scale the county.
He needs to get up and walk. Ask his wife.
Anybody
Use it or
else,
lose him, Stan.
anybody else would like one? In the audience, anybody else would like? One? If not, you can pick them up at the town hall tomorrow.
I make a motion again.
All right. All right, it's closed. Call the roll on closing this, please.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Yes.
Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Lundell.
Yes.
Councilman Niles.
Yes.
Supervisor Marino.
Yes. And I will bring up the motion to approve this,
Somebody made a motion to you all
What's that?
to approve it.
adopt this.
I made the motion to adopt it.
Okay. Do we get a second?
I don't know if we got a second. If we didn't, I'll second it.
I have to number them all if you do it now. I have it down further on the list. Do you want me to renumber or do you want to do it when we get?
Oh, you mean on the other one? Okay, yeah. We got it on the rest of, that we're gonna vote on all the other resolutions.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
It's just
all right.
down the-
I
Yeah,
got you.
you're right.
I got
Okay,
you.
You're right.
But I
yeah.
can renumber.
No,
No, that's
let's
okay.
leave it right like it is. All right, now the floor is open. Any comments on any of the legislation that we're talking about? Seeing none? All right, Laura, you want to start?
Resolution number 82 of 2023 to pay the bills of the eighth abstract as follows: general fund vouchers 2078 to 2137 and 2148 to 2155, $48,991.99. Highway fund vouchers 2046 to 2077, $94,437.48. SW1 Water District vouchers 2138 to 2145, $3,694.44. I'm sorry, $3,697.44. SW2 District voucher 2146 to 2147, $55.15.
Make a motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carried. Resolution number 83 of 2023, resolution to appoint new planning board member, Michael Panich.
Make a motion.
I'll second it, but I would like a brief discussion.
Always.
Always. Karen,
Yeah.
right now, I forgot his name.
It's right there. It says.
No, no.
Oh,
We lost. I can't remember if his first name is Tyler or his last name is Tyler.
Jason Tyler.
Jason Tyler, okay. He was a full member.
Correct,
Mr. Schaefer stepped into that spot.
correct.
So right now we're down an alternate, right?
You interviewed for an alternate for the planning board.
The reason I'm asking that is it's coming, there's another one coming up here too.
Well, the resolution you just made, motion you made in the second was to appoint a planning board member, not an alternate. So if there's no openings on the planning board, that's not.
There's no opening on the planning board, it is
That's
for
my
the
mistake.
alternate.
That's my mistake. Okay, so this is for the alternate. Okay.
Just further discussion on that point, the law says it's up to the town board how many alternates you want. Lori couldn't find a resolution stating the number of alternates, so that's up to this board. How many
Okay.
alternates you want.
So who made that motion?
I did.
Are you
Tim.
willing to amend it?
I am willing to amend it.
So it'll say resolution to appoint planning board alternate member.
Right.
Absolutely.
Who seconded? Paul?
no, you did.
I did. I'm willing to amend it.
Okay. Okay,
All right.
all.
You write your name down, Tim and Jim and me and see.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Hearing none carried. So resolution 84. We cannot do, because that was my error.
Now, I think Francis is here. Did I see him?
Yes,
He's right back there.
Just for everybody's information. First of the year, most likely, we will need another planning.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that figured out.
Okay,
Can I, Annie, did you turn in your resignation from the zoning board?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we now have a vacancy on the zoning board for well, we need to move our alternate up to regular member, and then we will have an opening
Alternate.
for an alternate on the zoning board. So I don't know if you want to consider, or if Mr. Martindale wants to consider filling that position, or I'm understanding we have another application that has come in since then for the zoning board as well. So I guess I don't know what you want to do, but we have people to fill all of the positions by the first of the year. But we will, as of tonight, we have openings on the zoning board as well.
I would suggest that at our next meeting, properly advertised ahead of time, we promote Mr. Bordeaux to.
We already did that.
You did that at your last meeting that I was
Okay.
not at.
So you need an alternate.
We need an alternate for
Okay.
that. All right, so we get this list, we can start looking for alternates.
Okay, so you don't want to fill anything else tonight then?
No,
You're not gonna do anything with
Okay.
Mr. Martindale then?
do we have to do anything with Mr. Martindale or just leave it?
You don't have to. I think she's suggesting if you'd like to, there's no.
Hey, I think somebody should talk to Mr. Martindale to see if he wants to be
That's
a.
a question.
There he is. He's got his hand up.
step up to the podium?
Yeah,
My only quick question was, if I step into the position, would I still be able to go back to the zoning board afterwards and just do this until that point, or do you want me to be in there fully and give you time? Because I'm willing to donate my time for anything you need.
yeah.
I just was going on the zoning board because of Tony, but I don't care.
You wanted the planning board, it's on the planning board.
Tony, but it doesn't matter.
All right, how about we wait one more month,
Okay,
see if we can get somebody, if he wants to go where he wants to go. You know, no,
That's the
really,
reason
it
I
doesn't
keep
pay to
going.
start for a month or two and then come back and go. again.
If it was to help though, I would
Yeah.
do it and then. see
I
where-
believe we have an application for the zoning board anyway.
All right.
They haven't
We'll
interviewed
hold on,
yet,
Hold
but-
I
on,
make a motion to table that resolution number 84 at this present time till next month.
okay,
Second,
second,
I'm sorry, not to be a stickler, but 84 was deleted.
We're deleting.
Huh?
84 is deleted because there is no other
Yes,
position.
we don't- yeah,
That was
okay,
a
it's deleted.
mistake.
So we're renumbering from here. Okay. Resolution number 84 of 2023, resolution to purchase road sign for Washburn Meadows Road, which is a private road at the expense of the owner.
Make a motion.
I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ron, Ron, get that sign made up.
Washburn Meadows Road, it's private road. Yeah, and let Cindy know how much it is.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Resolution number 85 of 2020.
86.
No, we
Gotta
renumbered.
Move it all up because we got the other.
Resolution number 85 of 2023, resolution granting partial exemption on real property taxation for eligible persons 65 years of age and over as presented by the assessor, and the attorney has actually written up the resolution that will be put into the minutes. It's very lengthy.
Make a motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution number 86 of 23, resolution to purchase the Second Lake Community sign from Tim Rodrigue. And we needed to get a price for a 3x6.
Yep, I got it right here. I just got this. I didn't know if we were gonna do it today. We can hold it off because he didn't see this because I just got it. And I'd rather have them look at it, make sure it's what they were looking for. We asked for them for the drawing. And the price.
What do you want to do?
I think we just have to table it.
Table it?
Yeah.
What kind of
have to
price?
Look at it.
What are you looking for a price?
The price is, I think it was. See that, it's here. $1,500.
Two-sided sign.
Nope, one side.
One sign, dead center.
Let's look at, yeah, facing 9N. But I also wanna table it because I talked to Tim when he brought it today, he didn't figure in the posts. So.
Just the guy.
He's
Sign
the
all
gentleman
their
that's done
sign.
most of the
sign it
signs
down.
throughout the town.
Okay, so are you making a motion to table?
I would like to table it for another month, so I get all the information and the prices,
I'll agree.
right? So that's tabled.
So Supervisor
call it-
Lino seconded that.
Paul seconded it.
Yeah, I called Bob and he couldn't come tonight, so. Well, he'll see me tomorrow on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tabling? Opposed? Hearing none, carried. So nothing.
No, because that's.
Okay.
But we're gonna have to table 88 or 87 as well, because. If I can't get a Word version of the ordinance, I'm gonna have to type it all. So I would like you to see the changes before you set the public hearing. Yeah, okay.
I make a motion, we table. Former 88, now called 87.
I'll second it.
Who's that?
And
Mr. Hanlon?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
and it's not
Opposed?
just parks and beaches also.
That was part of the change.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll start with, well, here it says, Mr. Hanlon, so now I'll go back. Annie's listed different, but Annie, would you like to, make any comment?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hanlon,
It's just one small thing, Ronnie, the parking signs up there at Thomas Road,
Not working?
are they up?
Yeah, there's two of them.
Two?
Yeah, unless someone tore them down. On the right side, when you go down.
I'll drive up there again, look, I didn't see them.
There's supposed to be two right there.
It's absolute mayhem up there. What a mess.
I'll check tomorrow.
What a zoo. You gotta see it.
Yeah.
I'll go up there, look, I'll take a drive up tomorrow. I'll send you a text. If you drive up there, I'll drive there. I'll just look. Maybe I missed them, but. Someone's using them in their garden for tomato steaks or something.
all right, that's it.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Got a couple of things here. It was mentioned couple of months ago at our meeting that due to the fact that the state comptrollers put out their reports and everything, along with the editorials that you submitted to the different news companies, that it was supposed to be put on our website to make sure we stay transparent throughout the community. And I'd like to make a motion that's accomplished.
It's already been sent.
Huh?
It's already been sent to Jamie. The findings and all that,
I'm sorry.
the audit,
The audit,
it was sent to Jamie.
Mr. Jean's things in regards to the Chronicle, his feelings on it and everything.
We have 90 days to submit it to the state and, Colleen and I are working on it. You guys pass in September. and then it'll get on our website.
It's already on the website, I
Yeah.
believe.
Is it? Okay.
Both of them, both audits,
I
both
know,
parts of the audit.
I know that Cindy sent stuff to Jamie. I can check to see exactly what it was, but it was the audit.
The whole audit is on the website,
Along with our letters that we sent.
not the return.
That I'm not
We're
sure.
working on it, but we got 90 days.
The letter that we sent a month ago is part of the final audit.
Mhm.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
And we haven't done the new response.
I will check and see what that status is, but I'm sure she sent it. I believe it was last week sometime.
We'll get it up there.
It was also mentioned to me that in your response in the news break in regards to in the Chronicle, the last one you wrote or were interviewed on, you made a remark that I personally, you thought that I did not have enough petitions. And that is why I did not run for reelection. You remember saying that?
I honestly don't.
You don't. Well, I can bring it up.
Could be, it could be.
I'd like to show you right in hand. There are my petitions.
I don't need to see them.
Well, you're stating that I resigned, you thought, because I didn't have my petitions in time. Okay? I did have them in time.
Okay.
I resigned
All right, I speak to you like you speak to me.
and I
You know,
I
understand what you're
resigned
saying.
because of the situation, which my letter of resignation stated in there. That the derogatory remark that you made at me personally,
Me personally?
yes,
All right, well, we'll just
No.
move on.
no, we're not,
It's, well, he's talking. Paul's
okay?
talking.
Which I have been informed, I could bring you up on harassment. Okay? When I see stuff like this, you're saying that I'm the last one on the board. Basically saying you're getting rid of me. Well, that's nice. I put over 3 years in this location, feeling that when I made my resignation, I had a number of townspeople ask me why. Again, I'd like to see a rebuttal put back in and the corrections made.
Okay. I'll take care of that. All right, anything else?
No, thank you. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Looking down at the boat launch over the weekend. On my side of the road, you had 2 townspeople fall in that boat area. Okay, due to the fact the washout. From the storms we've had. And it's caused gullies in that launch area. Maybe you can mention that to Rick to take care of that.
Sure, but they shouldn't be there. It's our property.
Huh?
They shouldn't have been there. But we'll take care of it.
It's no, it's the town property.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but they shouldn't be on it.
If they're launching their boats and kayaks there, which you've given permission,
Okay, Paul, you're right.
That's what the sign says on the tree.
Hmm?
That this area is for launching boats and kayaks.
All right, move on. It's the Niles.
I took a look at the financial statement of the EMS. And I will definitely admit I am out of my accounting league. It is not an audit. It says that it's not expected to be an audit. And it's, all information is provided by the EMS. It's not a certified audit where the accountant goes out and checks to make sure such and such. is certified. Well, a certified audit. I had a couple done in my business years, and they were 5 to 10 times the expense. But anyways, that report is a financial statement. It's not an audit. So everybody knows, and it's for last year.
are we asking under the contract between the town of Luzerne and the EMS squad for an audit? Or are we asking them for a they presented to us?
Or no? I think we talked about.
The word is audit.
Why do
This
we,
is
why do we want to audit them? What's?
to make sure they're spending the money in the right place.
Because
there a
now
reason?
Luzerne
Okay,
providing the money.
You got that?
okay.
Just
Curious.
Our portion is 300, you might know this, Rob, talking to 300 something.
Thirds and one third.
2/3 and 1/3
Is this?
This is what they've given.
Every
Do we
year.
normally do this every, okay.
every year.
This is what they've given every year, and it has to be on May 15th, which they didn't do this year. We just got it last week.
I
This
think
is-
we talked about a while ago, asking them to do a certified audit once every few years. But I don't think it ever went any further than us talking about it, and I might be wrong. I think we talked about asking about that.
Well, I know this came up pretty hard. A couple years ago. Okay. And we won't have to go into that discussion, but the whole thing is, if it says an audit. If it says certified audit, or does it just say an audit?
I
It
don't
says an order.
Huh?
It says an order.
Just an audit.
Doesn't specify. This is the same one that, from the same company for at least the last 5 or 6 years.
This is not an audit.
No, it's not. an audit. We all say that. It's not an
It's
audit.
a financial statement.
It's what it is. You want to get them to change it? Let's make a resolution for it.
I think if it's been working fine, is there a reason to change it or? Because you want something more thorough? If there's a problem, then I would suggest something more thorough, but if it's been working.
Has
fine-
anybody contacted town Hadley?
In regards to what?
Well, we can't make a payment.
Right.
Okay, did Hadley make a payment?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
They made it last week when they got it.
They did. So in other
We
words,
didn't make the payment because Colin wasn't here to write the check and sign.
so they're agreeing with
Because
what. was
last year, or
presented.
2 years ago, I got beat up that they gave it to him on the 15th.
I know, I didn't want to bring it up.
We don't bring it up because it was a disaster. But we waited until they got us this, and now we got it.
You find it, I just,
There's gotta be some, I got so much paperwork here.
I had your sticky note still on.
Did I? This file's
Just
coming.
one little. Error. Sent, because we want to make sure everybody knows what it is.
It's just a financial statement.
Yes.
There it is. Well, it was in the office for weeks.
To review, including primarily applying analytic procedures to the management's financial data. Of this data provided by EMS. Okay. A review is substantially less in scope than an audit. The objective of which is the expression of an opinion regarding the financial statements as a whole. Accordingly, I do not express such an opinion. The finances, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. I know it was, I think we established it wasn't an audit. But I was wondering, my angle is why would you want an audit? If you were bringing it up, I don't,
Preventive, that's
for what?
to
Is there a problem?
We don't know that.
preventative, not reactive.
How much is it gonna occur on the EMS as far as expenses to perform that?
I don't know.
Look into that. And then warned if it's needed. I mean, I don't know, I just,
It's substantial. I'll tell you that.
Well, it all goes
Well-
back to the same situation. Everybody thought snowmobile club was all clean and green. And look at what happened there.
oh, if you guys want to turn logs over, start looking for grubs, by all means, go for it,
You know what I'm saying?
but. You know,
It's.
I don't know why all of a sudden we want to do
Anybody else
another.
ever talked about this like 5-6 months ago.
If we're gonna put them under the demand of it,
We both felt it's not an order. But that's the way it's been since the day they started. You want to change it? Let's make a resolution.
Well,
Next year, they have to have a full fledged order.
Even if it's done once every 5 years or something like that.
This is my impression in audit.
Discussed.
An impression of mine, when you go from one set. Procedure you've been doing, then you go to audit, that would signify to me, what's going on?
Yeah, raise the
Do you
flag.
smell something? If you don't, then why are you doing it? I don't know, unless you want to. Make it every 5 years, and if you're gonna crush the EMS with the audit expenses, you better split it. You're demanding it. Don't put the burden on them.
I would,
Back on these.
I would suggest
Okay,
we go ahead.
just
and
making
make-
sure we don't start taking money out of their pocket when they're trying to perform a duty in the town.
I would suggest we go ahead and make the payment. And.
Yes.
And we look into.
Pay for it.
And we look into the cost.
Pay what we owe, and then, yeah,
We need to change the disc before we go any
Okay.
farther.
Yeah, the checks in the office, I want to make sure you guys knew about it before I sign.
I'm fine with paying them. I have no suspicion of anything, so.
Oh, I agree. Because they're gonna pass it back into their budget. and we're gonna pay for it anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe they're on the. Can't lose situation.
right.
But.
But all it is- It's
I-
not
I-
trying to say they're doing anything wrong. It's plain, just like running a company. Okay? Either you stay on top of things. If you don't. There could be a wolf in there.
No, I know. I know.
Just change the payment.
And that,
I can stop saying that,
what's that?
guys.
People,
We know what you mean.
you better look up in your book.
Let's not knock it all wokey. I don't.
No, you can't use woman for it.
Thank you.
You can't use woman either. You can't designate sex anymore.
Would you stop it?
Well, I'm just telling you.
Almighty, let's look at some sanity back in the world.
Get us all in trouble.
Lord.
No, you can't say that.
Mm.
Have you? Oh, crap. You know, your stuff up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
That's all I have.
It's a bunch of bumpers.
so we're gonna go ahead and pay them, and I'll inform them that
I
come up with
will,
an audit maybe next
I'll,
year.
I'll, if it's okay with everybody, I'll, talk to Scott and whoever and say, we'd like to look into getting a certified audit. Maybe in the future, how much would it cost?
Yeah.
No, no demand.
Make the payment
Yeah,
and go that way.
All right,
I'm done.
thank you. Ron, did you get any estimates on the road stuff yet?
They're coming.
They're coming.
And Beckham's come today. And I drove him around, so he'll be giving me some. I'll have him for the next agenda meeting.
Thank you.
Is it my turn or?
Yep, your turn.
I brought this lead pipe inventory to you last time. I went and talked to Warrensburg. The scratch test is good for inside the house. That does not tell me from the valve outside their house to the main. We will have to do this. We're gonna have to dig up houses, roads, everything. This ain't no walk in the park here. Just. They come up with an estimate of $2,500 each valve that I gotta dig up. That's if nothing goes wrong. You know, hit a line or hit something else. So we have 900 in this district here. And just if the house is built before 1986, that's what we have to check.
How many you got, Ron?
That I don't know yet. But let's just say if I had 500, 500 times 2,500 is 1.2 million. That's if something went wrong on every house, but it's a cost on every house that I gotta dig up. I gotta find out if that has lead service to the main. The only time that I dug up down in town, I found lead goosenecks off the main. I think eventually that's gonna be considered, and we're gonna have to replace
I
Eventually,
think it already is.
eventually, yeah.
this. I found an electro scan through my water guy. It's a piece of machinery that we can send down the pipe. And
What, the shut off?
yes,
Okay.
or from inside the house. With low voltage conductivity. It will let you know if it's a lead pipe or not.
True resistance.
Yes. It's expensive, but I could talk with Hadley, maybe splitting the cost. And then when we're done with it, we sell it and recoup some of our costs.
Could you talk to Corinth too? Maybe Corinth will want to use it too? I don't know.
What kind of price tag we looking?
83.
83,000,
83,000.
a lot cheaper than 1.5 million.
It's absolutely, so there's different ways you gotta look at it. Pass that down.
How does that, does it qualify as an efficient test? In all your study, you guys looked at it?
It gives you results right, real time, right there.
That's a no brainer. You know,
Yes.
that's what we're looking at.
And I just talked to my water guy, he said those are readily available.
What's Warrensburg doing?
Right now, they're just doing scratch test inside the house.
I thought our consultant said. That was the only test we needed to do.
No. How?
You weren't at the meeting.
How
Well,
though?
maybe you were.
How can that be when from the,
I know,
from the
I know.
the valve outside the house to the main, you don't know what it is?
We questioned that. When the consultant was here.
It's.
Do you remember it the same way I do?
But Ron, like you
That's not
said,
gonna be-
the
That's not
the
true.
lead out by the pipe, that's gonna come into play eventually. So we're gonna have to go after the
From the main
Yeah.
to the valve on the house
riser, right?
is the most important that we're gonna need to know.
Without ripping everything out. That'd be,
That's not fixing it. That's,
Yeah,
that doesn't include fixing it, right? Replacing.
right.
The whole thing though is.
And if there is lead, we gotta go from the main into the house. Not just to the valve,
But
into
you're
the
still,
house.
you're still taking a machine that is going to say, yes, we have a lead problem, or no, we don't have a lead problem.
Yeah.
Now, you might find out through a number of places that you've repaired over the years,
Yeah,
that has been eliminated. So instead of roughly 1,000 people on the water lines, is it?
there's 900 down in this district,
There, yeah, it's over
Okay.
900, so.
So you got 900,
depending
Okay.
on the age of the house.
right? So if you can lose 25% of it due to age,
Yeah,
revalves and everything else. And this cleans up another big portion of it. Our savings is there,
I like it. I like the idea of it.
and it's all done by resistance is all it is.
yep. So, I mean.
Mhm.
I'll have to,
Why don't you have our consultant take a look at that just to make sure it makes sense? You know who it is, right? It's what's the name of this company? Arcadis.
Arcadis, yeah. I sent that to them. And they haven't heard of that yet. But I got the paperwork right there.
Yeah.
Well, they're the ones that are ultimately coming up with the figures and everything.
Now, the $150,000 grant that we're getting, this would kind of fit into that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
How long, well, that would be pretty quick, as
Yeah,
long as the owner's compliance, they say, yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
You'd be in and out of the house.
And if they don't comply, then I dig up in their yard, not out in the middle of the road.
This,
you
could
know.
be- maybe this is something that, like you said, Hadley, and maybe even Corinth might want to get in on it.
Sounds
I don't
like
know.
Warrensburg's thinking about something, right? There's
Yeah.
another.
Well, New York
I don't know
State's
if
We
we
could
can-
split the costs up a little bit more. I mean, maybe it's
Right.
unnecessary, but I mean, it is,
Maybe we could,
it's 84
I
thousand.
mean. It's. We're gonna wanna use it at the same time, but I mean.
Yeah,
maybe we
it's a little tough.
every other month you get it and you do some houses.
I'll bet you $5, you know. In what, possibly 4 weeks, if permission is granted to get in there,
Yeah,
you could probably do the whole town
yeah,
with a couple of people.
yeah.
At least
Instead
we
of-
know exactly what's in and
I
out.
mean, I can't even imagine having to dig all the service lines up downtown with 8 inches of concrete.
Just the
How
manpower.
about, yeah,
It's gonna be insane.
as an example, when you got up in the heights there last year, Ron. Any of those pipes up there have lead?
No, I haven't found anything up on the heights
Nothing.
with lead. It's always downtown, down through Main Street.
I think that fits the bill right there. Because of this unique circumstances of the concrete and everything like that.
So if we're only downtown, basically 9N to the river, to the firehouse,
Depending on the age of the house.
what are you talking? 300 houses maybe?
Probably get with Melissa, maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Down East River Drive too.
I'll start with
Yeah.
making a list of houses that are that age.
Look into it some more, Ron. We got some
Yeah.
time.
Wonder how.
Yeah, I'll see if there's like a rep that could come up, maybe give a demo or something.
There
That'd
you
be
go.
nice.
Yeah, see if you'll demonstrate it
Yeah.
on 300 or 400 houses.
Yeah.
I wonder,
Good thought.
I wonder, how good the pipe has to be. How
There's
small.
You could go down a 1/2 inch up to 3 inches.
Yeah.
It says it right there.
And if they're corroded and then we got to dig it up.
It spins, so it probably feeds its way.
I said, it looks like the end of it. Looks like it's got a rotary
So-
type.
At the same time, it's cleaning the pipe, so it's gonna be.
True.
And you're gonna plug up everybody's faucet.
Yeah, maybe.
Do your laundry.
So I'm just bringing this to your attention now,
Yeah, it's
and that might be the right way to go.
I'm on board with it so far.
As long as you can get, if that's an approved method. It's foolish not to.
I
That's
believe it is.
That's- Ask AJ that.
I will definitely find out if it's approved method.
AJ will know.
And my other water guy that works for AWWA, he recommended that too. So
Just get a
I
piece
would
of
imagine
paper,
it's.
just get a piece of paper from the state saying, yes,
Right,
it is approved.
right. Other than that, we're up on Lake Shore Road changing culverts out. We got a little bit of brushing to do on that, and then that'll be ready to pave, and then we'll go up on Thomas Road. We got culverts to do on that and brushing on that. And we'll see where we're at that time. That's all I got.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Karen?
I distributed my report from the office to you by computer today, and there's a couple things I want to bring to your attention. The zoning board of appeals on August 10th, after some discussion, passed a motion to no longer allow comments, including from the applicants via Zoom at their future meetings. The meetings will still be available for viewing by the public and live streamed on YouTube, but public comment will not be allowed through Zoom at the zoning board of appeals meetings. Also going forward, I'm going to be posting my public hearing notices on the appropriate webpage of the town website for the planning and the zoning board. I had not done that previously. I just put it in the newspaper, which is the legal paper that we use to post. We will be needing an alternate now for the zoning board due to the vacancy that Annie has created, which is going to be filled by Mike Bordeaux. His position as alternate will need to be filled. I'd also like to thank Annie McMahon for her many years of service on the zoning board of appeals. I don't know how many years it was because I've only been here since 2018, but she's been on the board longer than that. And everyone brings their own expertise and knowledge to that board, and Annie certainly has been no exception. And I really wanted to thank you for all of your input and all of your help through the years on that board. And we wish you well in your endeavor as the town councilwoman.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ron.
That's all I have.
Can I butt in?
Yes, you can.
I was chairman of the zoning board for 2 or 3 years, and everything Karen said isn't saying enough. And I really appreciated having Annie's insight, her humanizing of issues. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, town clerk,
I've given
Deputy
you
clerk.
our monthly clerk report to the board. And I was wondering if you had given any more thought to the water program that I presented a couple of meetings ago. Because I have to get back to Edmonds sometime in the next couple of months.
Help me out.
It was a new water program that would, because our software is becoming obsolete. And the board has expressed interest in taking credit card payments and putting bills up on the website for residents to pay their bill like that. And in the office, they can as well. And our software right now doesn't allow for that. Also, the newer software would allow for what you have talked about from time to time, the radio reader, which our handheld reader is also becoming obsolete within the next year. So I just wanted to see if you guys had given any more thought to that, and if not, if, you know, we still have a little time before you decide what you want to do.
Could you refresh my memory on the cost?
I want to say the first year cost was like 83 or 8,700. It's a big conversion that has.
How
to be
much
done.
is the handheld?
Well, the last, I don't have a price on that yet. Jason from Thai Sales was gonna come and give a presentation, but unless we get the new software, there was no sense in having him do that.
We gotta have the software, we've gotta have the handheld, and we gotta have all new meters put on.
I don't know about all new meters, but there's something that has to go on in the meters. But the software was like 83 or 87 for the first year. The last handheld we bought was close to 10,000, it was 9,000 something, and that was quite a few years back. So that might be something you wanna think about, and we can.
Is this going wireless?
That would be to use the wireless. We don't have to go wireless.
I
But
talked
we
with
could.
Jason up in Chestertown. They went to the wireless. And they recouped their cost within. I wanna say a year or two.
It takes our men approximately, if I'm not mistaken,
There's people,
a week, 2 months.
he was giving me situations where people were having a problem. He could go within 5 minutes, go right on the computer and bring up their house. And tell you exactly what they're using right then and there. I mean, it was. No brainer, so I would consider it. That's for sure.
And there's also something in that, high sales, I don't know if it. The program that comes with the handheld, I believe, don't quote me on that, but, that will also detect leaks. Like we'll get a report, if it's set up to get a report, we'll get a report, so-and-so used X amount of gallons in 24 hours.
Right, like.
You know, so we can get those types of reports as well.
Well,
In some
regardless,
cases, those
We
would
need
be,
3 bids.
well, yeah, probably,
Yeah.
but, it's under the procurement policy. Yeah, that's true.
It depends.
How much? 83? It'd be 83 or 87 for the software, something like that. And we're already working with these have been our software company for, gosh, since I've been here at least.
Written fax or email quote and notify 3 board members.
For what, under 10, under 10.
For that water thing, you know, you're gonna need to go out to bid.
For the
Don't
handheld,
mention that.
but it's
Yeah,
something
that's,
I just wanted to
that's
revisit,
way over.
yeah. So I just wanted to know that you guys were kind of thinking about it.
Should we Get updated numbers, maybe.
I think we gotta get
We just
updated,
got
numbers,
it.
find out exactly if we've got 900 people in our district. What do we gotta do in regards to, it's just a small thing that goes on the meter, or the meter's gotta get changed out, the handheld. And the cost of the program.
When we talk about the scope of the conversion, what is
Yeah.
it? You know,
The whole.
just nice to know.
You gotta have facts and figures.
Jason would be able to, from Thai Sales, would be able to speak
Bring 'em in.
more towards, the meter stuff.
Can you have them come next?
I can't, I just had him not come to the last meeting because without the software, there was no sense in having
Yeah.
him come in yet, but I can have him come, yes.
Good.
So to the agenda meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
We discussed a lot of this stuff money wise. That we decided.
Budget season's around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And our office has decided to move forward with appointing a part-time second deputy, Elaine Morton, for the budget 2023 budget. So I wanted to let you know.
Already in the budget.
Yes, it is. She would work around 20 hours, give or take.
And that's an appointment. We don't have to.
That's Cindy's appointment, yes, the town clerk's appointment.
That's in the budget also.
And that's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
Well, it's up to me. I have nothing really. I just wanted to just let people know. You know, we were discussing borrowing $1 million, ran into a lot of questions and stuff. You have to understand the same thing with all the stuff that's coming out. Right now, Ron is roughly 325, 350,000 guaranteed from the state of New York. So if Ron goes ahead and uses,
So that's not guaranteed. They can change that at any year.
but they haven't, yet.
No,
They
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 haven't.
stayed to what they.
Yeah.
So, you know, just say even 300.
Yeah.
But we have to do the work first. Get it done, submit the bills, then they pay us back. So you're drawing 300 plus out of your,
So the CHIPS money is reimbursement?
it's a reimbursement. It's not in your, it's not in our bank account right now. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I don't think everybody knew that.
Right.
And then the other thing that we're talking about having paving from not Cabricki,
That comes.
Peckham.
Pull that in.
They just did Kevin's, or a lot of Kevin's work, about 2.5 miles. It was almost 300,000. Looked good because I went up to see it last Friday or Thursday. So if we have them come in and continue, we got to fix some of these roads and they got to fix them now. They're going to be wanting to bill us at the end of the month. So if you got 600,000 or 700,000, that you're going to have to pay out. We're going to be tight and maybe coming down at the end of the season paying bills. I mean, we don't carry a couple of $1 million as a surplus. So I want you also to think about going out and taking out a loan because it's the easiest way and get the work done because the people are complaining about roads and they want them fixed.
Well,
This all still comes back to the same situation. We don't know how much to borrow. We talked about 1 million, we talked about 1.5 million. And the worst thing to do is go out and borrow 1 million and we need 1.5 million.
so you're
That's
saying,
why
Ron,
Ron's
that you'll
pulling
have those
figures
numbers
together.
for the next
For
meeting?
the agenda.
Yeah. Now,
In a couple
this
of weeks.
definitely falls well within bidding procedures that we have to follow. Right, Barry?
Well, his one is from, we can go off of the county.
Yeah. the
County, you don't need,
contract.
you don't need,
That comes,
county has a contract, but
I'm
we can use that.
out of my league.
Are you talking about for the service of putting the road?
The actual blacktopping work.
Yeah, So you can piggyback off of a county contract if they allow that in the contract. It has to be written in there, or you have to go out to bid.
Should we start looking into that right away if we're talking about trying to?
It's in there,
It's in there.
it's in there. Other towns use them.
Kevin just told me he used it, so. it's in there.
Okay,
So something to think on, and we're gonna run out of time.
We should kind of work-
November To get
we
roads
should be
done.
working all these things at the same time. Okay,
Well, the whole thing, Gene, even if we get this thing done, by the time the money's approved, winter's gonna be here anyway. This is for a spring start, correct? Rob?
That's how fast you can get the money.
What's paid, as
Lottie said they could come in October and.
Yeah. long as the weather's cooperating.
Right.
what's the cutoff date? The plant's closed.
That's
They
good.
say 15th of November, but if it's, they might,
Depends on.
they might stretch it, but they say it's the 15th of November.
And what was the loan company, I forget which federal department it was, what were they saying in terms of turnover time once we the green light?
Believe it or not, a couple of weeks, USDA, yeah.
This is good Act 12. Mary. The town referendum, the whole 9 yards, correct?
It depends on how fast you're gonna pay back the money, but it's subject to a permissive referendum, which means no public hearing. You pass the resolution, and the town would have 30 days to petition. There's no public hearing. But if you pay it back within 5 years, you don't have to, it's not subject to permissive referendum.
Yeah,
How many petition signatures are required for public referendum?
That I don't know.
It's a
I can
formula,
look it up.
it's a formula, right?
It's a percentage of the number of registered voters.
Yeah.
all right, that's all I have, except
That's
we'll,
gonna be the limiting factor, that 30 days. You're talking about Peckham being able to pull the trigger pretty quick, you're talking about the
Yeah.
lawn being available in a couple of weeks, so 30 days is gonna be the limiting factor.
I don't know what their schedule is, so. As soon as the guy gives me the quote, I'll ask him.
If we go ahead and proceed with the application for the money and then change our minds, what happens?
Nothing.
no, take it. I mean, you're talking, you're talking like, Corey's talking about the meters and stuff. You're up in $100 grand here.
No, I'm talking about black.
Yeah, well, that's why I would like to, I mean, I know I've discussed it with Mary. And not make it a bond, because a bond, you have to use it all on blacktop. You borrow the money and we'll use it as the board sees fit to take care of all these jobs. That's the way I'm looking at it. If you bond it, then you're stuck with just paving.
Then why we
I wonder if the word
do
road
that?
reconstruction would cover culvert, shoulder and all that.
Yeah, I mean, those are all considered part of the highway.
Yeah.
but that-
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's in that,
If you put it down just blacktop, you're limited.
Yeah.
Because there's too many other parts to the whole picture. So if we broaden our wording out a little bit. And put it out there in regards to road reconstruction. It can't be used for new roads. Just reconstruction of old roads.
What would be the downside of proceeding with the loan application right now if we can stop it and then,
How much you gonna borrow? 1 or 1.5?
well, we're supposed to have answers in a week.
There you go. Let's go that way. Let's get it set up for our agenda meeting. He'll have his facts and figures together. I'm not gonna vote on anything without facts and figures in front of me.
Well, we all agree that something has to be done.
Yeah.
Period.
Nobody's disagreeing.
And Ron, yeah, and we all agree on the same thing. The same mission is to get the roads taken care of. So I think we're all. got our
It's
heads
all
in the game.
infrastructure that we're worried about. We got water problems. We got road problems. We got bridges and culverts. Just like everybody else in the state of New York.
Dang cross.
Okay, anybody got anything else? besides-
Motion.
No, we got open to the public.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, the floor is open to the public. I think Mike Shavis first. He wants to make a 2-minute. We'll hold him 2-minute speech here on the lake.
It's gonna take him 2 minutes to get up here.
I heard that.
He's got jokes. He's got jokes.
I'll be 2 minutes and afterwards thunderous applause here. Mike Schaefer, 700 Road. First of all, I want to thank the board supervisor for your support this past year with the lake. And I'm here to do a quick and brief state of the lake from last year. We attended our lake group, the Lakes Association and our CSLAP group. 2 state conferences and we presented at both. We presented locally 3 times to the community at large. What our lake management program was. We successfully treated the lake with Priscillacor. A couple months ago, divers have been here twice. And it's somewhere between 98 and 99% of the milfoil is gone. Our CSLAP Citizen Science team. Presently, there are 8 of us who are certified. We take anywhere from 4 to 6 out on the boat every 2 weeks. We survey the lake for a total of 8 times. We collect water samples. We do a water depth test. And we send our water samples to a lab in Syracuse for water analysis. And so far, the lake is clean, very clean. Also made contact with the high school, met with the principal, superintendent, science teachers, and we'd like to involve students, hopefully some maybe sophomore, juniors, who are interested in our, we call it our citizen science program, and kids who would be involved to assist or help us or coordinate with us would be available for scholarships and things that we could present to them for next summer. So we hope to continue and work with them on that. Our future, we continue to monitor the lake with our CSLAP program. We continue to communicate with the state associations and with other government agencies. Any questions? That was 3 minutes. Sorry.
I'd like to say one thing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you and your group for all your hard work over the years.
You're welcome.
Keep this going and getting our lake to stay nice and clean. My hat's off to you.
Thank you. And to our newest board member, I've also contacted and have invited her out on the lake with us and to see what we do. Tim's already been out with us. Jim's out with us.
The hors d'oeuvres are terrible.
I forgot to tell you, you have to bring your own hors d'oeuvres. And anyone else that would like to come out with us, we're more than happy to bring people out and show them what a beautiful, beautiful lake we have. As evidenced on weekends when we have cars up there in the parking lot from Connecticut, Vermont, Montana, and whatever. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Anyone else? Yes,
Wait up there.
yep.
Name's Brent, I'm from Lake Luzerne. I'd sent pretty much, or talked to you pretty much, most of you up there about Reservoir Road.
Where?
Reservoir Road. I sent an email that might have made its way to you, but I've talked to a lot of people. I'm trying to just sum up where I'm at now after talking to you and trying to find out where you're at about Reservoir Road, starting with its current allowable uses in your mind. I wanted to see if I could get a opinion from one or several of you.
But allowing the use of the road itself,
Yes,
use it.
so anybody can use.
Anybody go up there on a bike.
Okay, as far as the road goes,
And I believe it runs to a hunting camp, which you should stop there because they don't take it too good to people go on their land. A couple of my friends found out.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not good.
From what I understand, there's fences and stuff up or gates. and
That's the
things
gate
up
I'm
there,
talking
but
about.
There's
I think.
several of them are open. Then there's one further up that might be where you're talking about. That's
Yeah, to
closed.
the end of it. Remember, I mean, you go up. Yeah, you gotta go up and hit the hunting camp. If there's other gates on the way down through, they're closed.
Okay. So anybody in the public can go up that road.
If it's far as I know, yeah, it's never been closed off ever since I'm born and raised here.
Okay. So you guys, I guess, should talk about that because
We go up,
I'm
we-
getting different things from different ones of you. So
Unless anybody knows anything different than I.
That's,
I don't know any.
I don't know anything.
They can drive up there, check it out.
He don't know where the road is.
Find it.
Tim, I don't totally agree with it, because you're gonna open it up to dirt bikes.
I mean, as it
four
stands
wheelers,
now, as it stands
Yeah.
now, you can go up there. You
But
can
just.
drive up there.
It's
The problem is,
It's town property.
Wait, it's not though, is what Karen's saying.
I don't know. It's not a town road. It is not on the town list of roads. So I don't know if it's a private road, if it's by easement, if it's a road by use. And it's not something that falls under my zoning at all, but it's not on the town list of roads.
Okay, so if it's not a town road or town property, the town board has no opinion on the use of it.
yeah, I just want to be clear though. It's not on her list of town roads. I don't
It's
know
not my
what,
list.
right, right.
It's on the New York.
That
State
doesn't mean it's not a town road.
Snowmobile trail there.
Before we talk about this
Yeah.
publicly and grant people permission, we should be on the
Yeah.
same page as the town board, though.
I didn't hear what you just
And
said.
we own town property up there.
I think the answer is we have to get back to you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Just to-
obviously, like you said, there's
Yeah, like,
understandings here, but me, I'm totally been blindsided here because the last time I knew. Town reservoir up there, so unless there's some information we don't know, well, yeah.
okay, yeah, there's a lot of stuff
Turn
going
some
on. I
leaves
just
over and
wanted
find
to
out.
actually do it publicly because my end game is. Page 72 of your comprehensive plan, you're supposedly looking for. Snowmobile trails that could possibly be used for purposes, says it right in your plan. So there's a snowmobile trail that cuts right off of that road up and through there. And several of your parcels, 350 acres or so, are called parks. You were talking about those a little bit on the 31st. and
I
that-
asked Melissa about that municipal park, and that again is just an assessment designation. It doesn't make it a municipal park. It's just her assessment designation, the same thing of the problem that we had before with the private land and the not private land, but private forest designation. It's an assessment designation.
It
No,
was
it's
the
not as
same
though-
designation as the one on Lake Bernard that you were talking about. That's why, and you were talking about what it takes to change that designation. That's
Yeah,
why I
that
was,
a tough one.
yes, yes. So that, again,
But
Um,
the ones that you're talking about, I could give you an answer, and back in 2065, this town was gonna get involved with the last of the Mohegan. And it was private, it was watershed property, it was turned over to the town so that they can build a big amphitheater and parking and everything else. And it didn't happen,
Mhm.
and they went to Lake George and they opened for 2 years and failed.
okay,
So one of the reasons we were a little frowning on it, because we would have had to borrow $1 million to get the project done.
okay. So that was his
So
purpose back then.
that's just a word in there, but it's not it was, I don't know how it got in there. Park, it's not
Well, it was a
private
park.
property that belongs to the town of Lake Luzerne.
So you're trying to make a bike trail, right? Is that what I saw in your email?
Yeah, basically, I saw it was a park. It is designated as a park. And you can just discuss what that means. And that park's purposes, to me, as of now, is it's a snowmobile trail park. That's the way I look at it. That road serves three purposes. It's to be an easement for the people who live at the bottom of it, which there's two of them. And then you gotta get your trucks up there if they have to go up there for whatever, the town trucks. And the third purpose is it's a snowmobile park. So I was thinking, again, from your comprehensive plan, it said you wanted to look at some of those trails and see if they could be used for other things. I think that should get looked at. I think it's the perfect place for it. You only have 3 other places in town that are designated as these municipal parks, whatever it means. And those other three total like 14 acres.
You know,
Yeah, we
Again,
have,
there's 300 plus up
we
there.
have the
so-
Buttermilk Rec area too, which is miles of dirt trails.
Yeah, it's
Good
like, a-
jeeping trails, but I'm just saying, we already have places to do that. I think that's
you know, have a lot of places to. mountain
Buttermilk.
bike-
There's
mountain
lots of
bike.
room up there.
Where?
Buttermilk, the Buttermilk Rec area goes all the way up to, up the Hudson, up River Road to the end of it, and keep
Well-
going.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Then it goes up to
River
Gay
Road.
Pond, River
Yeah,
Road, then it goes up to Gay Pond, then it goes out the other side. Goes all the way, it goes up into Warrensburg.
That's another one that needs to be looked at though, that Gay Pond.
That's,
Road.
that's public access. That's why it's not closed off. They have
That's
to have it
another-
open.
You could say this, you know, you said the same thing.
No, I do know that. I do that. Hunting season, they have to open up because it's public access.
Well, it's another one that's a snowmobile trail and yeah,
It's public road access. Believe it or not, looking at it, it's a public road access.
Okay.
And it only goes to Gay Pond. It used to go to the other side, which would have been great, but that landowner on the other end just shut it down.
Okay,
So,
there are mountain bike places, I guess.
yes,
with
there
that,
is.
But
There's a whole
this would
Buttermilk
be
Rec
more
area.
of a Gurney Lane type of setup, just.
Well, the problem with up there is you got private land and town land mixed together, and with this whole, like, are the attorney saying, we need to get the bottom of actually who owns that road, was like I told you, this is news to me. So we need to do our homework.
Everything I looked at says it's a town, well, yeah, you do, but in the private people have easements to it on the bottom.
What did you look at?
I was looking at county deeds.
But did you look at anything from the town? Did you go to, but Karen's saying she has nothing on it.
Well,
When someone says one thing and someone's printed, just let's get to the bottom of it and we'll tell you what the town, what it is. We'll tell you what it is
Okay,
and we'll get to the bottom of it.
okay, and my idea, I said it, I thought it would be a great place to accomplish an objective from the plan and, yeah, that's it. So
I
thanks.
appreciate it. Thank you very
well,
much.
you know, before you leave, and I will talk to you about it too. It is a good idea, but I said to you about insurance. Who's
It
gonna
it would have to be
maintain
looked
it?
into.
Well, you know, you have who's gonna maintain it, who's gonna keep those
Yeah.
roads, logs falling down, and, you know, it's not just easy to say to people, go up there and
Yeah.
run your bike up there or go walking. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, that's why I thought
That's,
Gurney Lane might be a
yeah.
good case study, see what they do. It seems to be successful. It's Queensberry, I think.
Who owns Gurney Lane? It's the town of Queensbury.
I believe so, yeah.
It's very rare. It's like,
They have a rec park.
separate.
They maintain it and everything.
I think people, they have volunteers that help them from like bike clubs and stuff, but that could be looked into, but I thought the first step was just, what is it now?
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Herring?
For once, I will be brief.
You can talk as long as you want.
Please
You
speak
got-
into the mic. so it
Speak
goes out
at the
to
mic so
record.
people,
No
so people out there can.
I have a couple of comment, a question, a request actually with regards to the audit.
Could you speak close to the mic, please? We won't be able to hear on the recording. Thank you.
The two audits that the town received. My recollection is correct. It was about 2 to 3 years ago, the town board requested the controller's office. I know it was probably not you individuals, but the town board requested an audit by the controller's office. The audit is out, as we all know, and it is unbelievable. Everything that was suspected and more is in the audit. I'm very concerned because town money is going out the door all the time. I'm not saying that. New York State Controller's Office is saying. Okay, read the audit. I'm concerned because I heard some comments the supervisor made and I read some that the taxpayers have not lost anything due to this. Please read the audit. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars
That's
are
not true.
gone.
That's not true.
It is.
It isn't.
Secondly, there's a letter in the audit made part of the audit by the supervisor that says he does not dispute any of the findings. What I'm asking is for you folks to consider having a special meeting, whatever you want to call it, where townspeople can come in, ask questions about the audit and get answers. Answers not like my attorney said I can't talk. Okay, the people are entitled to this. There is a lot of money missing. Maybe not in theft that way, but money that the taxpayers could have benefited from. So that's my one request, is to have some sort of a forum where people can come in and get answers. My second request is that I'm requesting the board to consider, I don't know if it would be by resolution or whatever, but to form an ad hoc committee to create the position and hire a controller for the town. In the 3 years that this study was conducted, if you read the report carefully, the barn doors were open the whole time. If we wait, it's not going to change. Right? There's an allegation, not an allegation, there's a statement in there that a town board member stole $130,000. He pled guilty to it and supposedly made restitution. Was that $130,000 taken from the town?
No, from the snowmobile club.
But did the town not control the snowmobile club's money?
No.
We give them a budget. That was snowmobile club, the cemetery, and I think the Lions Club. Organizations we have.
Well, anyway, a forum, because people want to speak, they want to ask questions and answers, and it can't be done during a regular board meeting. So my request is for you folks to consider having a special meeting or something where that could happen. The second is to form an ad hoc committee to look into the feasibility of a controller, creating the position and what we could stand to benefit from it, but that'd be totally nonpartisan. There are ways to do that aren't difficult. And to look into that so we can at least close the barn doors while we get to the bottom of where all this waste is going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Make a motion.
I second it.
Who made the motion?
Oh,
Hello. Adjourn. Okay. And who seconded?
Jimmy,
James Edwards.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Clean.